Good evening and welcome to today's edition of My Karate Journey. Today is the 30th of April 2023. This is 1 week following the Central States Karate Championships tournament, which I competed in. I competed in 4 events, well, technically 3 because one is non-competitive, it's just for fun. So I did the performance division, which I did a form called Beethoven, which is my school's required musical form for black belt promotion. So in order to get your black belt, this is the form, one of the forms of the 3 you're required to do. It's called Beethoven, and it's about 2 belt levels above my current level. So it was a work in progress, as I called it when I introduced myself to the judges. I've been working on it for about 2.5-3 weeks. I learned it mostly in class because we had a blizzard day where no one showed up, so it was just me and a couple other people showed up to class. So we kind of worked on whatever we wanted to work on. There was one guy working on he's a black belt, working on one of his black belt forms. Had a couple of younger kids, teenagers, that were working on learning their next form. Well, one of them's a red belt, the other one's a blue belt, and the form they were learning is Zhang De Moon, which is another one of those required black belt forms. It is considered the first advanced level form. So they were working on that while I was working on Beethoven. Technically, I'm not required to know it yet, but I wanted to work on it because when I get to the U.S. Open, which is in just over 2 months now, it starts on June 29th, the 30th, and July 1st. So today is the 30th, so it's basically 2 months. Not quite, maybe just a hair longer than 2 months. It's in Orlando, Florida, at the Disney Coronado Springs Resort. I'm not staying at that resort because it's it's like $300 a night, and the tournament was expensive enough. So I am going to be staying about 20 minutes away at a smaller hotel. So I've been working on Beethoven because I want to compete with it when I get there. And I figure if I'm going to be paying $3,000-$4,000 to work on competing in a tournament, I don't want to just go there and compete in 2 or 3 events. I want to compete in as many events as I can. So that's kind of the impetus of why I started learning it early. I also did my traditional open hand form, which is Zhang De Moon. I did that one really well. I was pleasantly surprised because I screwed it up during our last promotions, which was 2 weeks ago. So I messed it up during promotions, only because I've been working on Beethoven. I hadn't worked on it at all, really. Maybe once or twice I ran through it right before class. So, and then I did my traditional weapons form, which is Discovery, which is a brown belt bow form, and I'm a red belt, so it's the next level higher, and so I competed with that one, and I screwed it up royally, only because there's a bit in the form where you turn and do a down strike, and when I turned and did my down strike, I happened to look down and see a row of kids sitting on the edge of the mat that were waiting to compete in the ring next to mine. So I saw that and I kind of had a brain fart, and I was like, oh crap, I don't want to hit these kids, but my next move is basically right on top of them. And I didn't want them to move or something unexpectedly and wind up getting hit or knocked down by me. So I paused during the form and I brain farted. It took me 10 seconds to remember where the heck I was in the form, and I scooted back a couple of steps. That way I could work on the spacing a little bit better. So I did that because it's also a form. I should be a brown belt when I get to the Open. So I'm competing. I want to compete with that form, so I've been learning it kind of ahead of time, so that when I do get to the Open, I'll have it down. There's no way I ever do a form perfectly. You're always going to have something that's not perfect, but the closer I can get to perfection, the better. You get out of here, you little. And then I did sparring. So I did regular point sparring. So I had in my traditional open hand form, I had 2 guys in my division that I had to spar with, and compete with, and I beat them both. So I got first place in open hand form, and then I went and did the weapons form. I was the only one in my division, so you automatically win first place if you don't have anyone to compete with. But I still did the form, and thankfully I didn't have anyone to compete against, so no harm, no foul, I guess, in screwing up the form. And then point sparring, I did there was 4 total guys in my division, which is unusual. Usually there's 1 or 2. And this time I actually had 4 people, so it was me and 3 other guys. So I had to go first. I sparred against another guy from another school. That was a really good match. We were kind of going back and forth. I was leading, and then I was kind of trying to coast a little bit, and I kind of got careless, and he wound up catching up. And then so we ended our match tied. So we went to sudden death, and we kept clashing. And when you clash, it's like both people scored at the same time, so they don't differentiate points. So if you both clash, then neither person gets a point. You need a majority of judges to score. So we have 3 judges. You have a center judge, which is he kind of oversees the whole match, and then there's 2 corner judges. So he'll say stop or break, and then he'll ask the side corner judges who got the point. So if they point to the right, it's one person. They point to the left, it's the other person, and then 2 or 1. So you point with one finger, that's 1 point, 2 points. So you need a majority of judges. So two out of 3 you need to score. And then so I wound up beating him, and then I had a short break, and the guy that I sparred with for first place is the same guy that I beat at Diamond Nationals. So I don't know if he was kind of in a grudge match mode or what, because I beat him for first place at Diamonds. But we wound up sparring for first, and good match. I wound up coming out on top. So I scored. I think the final score was like 7-6 or 7-5, somewhere. I can't remember, but regardless, I wound up scoring more points and I won. So in my 3 divisions, first place all the way across the board, and then performance is non-competitive, so I didn't get any points or anything. I didn't have anyone to compete against. For one, I was the only one in the division, and so you get a little trophy that says performance on it. It's kind of like, I guess you would call it a participation trophy, because everyone gets one who competes in a division. But so I wound up just doing it for fun. I don't need any more dang trophies. You can kind of see up in that corner there. I got enough. But it was fun all the same. So coming up, we've got 2 months to get ready for the Open, and I need to lose about another 20 pounds. I'm at 218. I need to get down to 195. Well, I'm 199 or less to be in the lower weight division for board breaking. So I've been training with the board breaking. So I know I talked about it before, but this is the boards that, as far as I can tell, are the correct size. They are 12 inches wide and 10 inches long. So you put them down, and then they're 1 inch thick. So the idea is to break as many boards as you can. So my goal was always 5. And since I've been practicing, I've been wound up doing 4 with pretty much relative ease. And at the tournament, when you get there, you have to pay for the however many boards you're going to use. And then these are your standard carpenter pencils. You can get these at Home Depot or Menards or any hardware store, basically. And these come 10 to a pack, and they're like $4 for 10 of them. So I bought 2 packs at 10. So what they do is these become the spacers between the boards. So you don't have a lot of room between the boards. So they stack them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, with these spacers. So they do the same thing with the concrete breaking. I'm not doing concrete breaking. I like my hands too much to want to break them on concrete if I do it wrong. I've never had any training in breaking concrete, so I'm just doing the hand break. So there's 15, 20 different board and concrete breaking divisions. I mean, there's multi-direction breaking, power breaking, creative breaking, all kinds, high jump breaking. I can't do any of that stuff. I'm too old and atrophied. So the power hand breaking I'm doing, I haven't decided. I'm either gonna do hammer fist, which is basically you take your hand and you curl it up, make a fist, and instead of punching with these 2 knuckles, you're gonna hit with this meaty portion of the hand. So the idea is to come down as squarely as you can on the boards, that way they break. And the idea is not to hit the top of, you're not trying to break the top of the board, so you're trying to break the bottom. So you're going to go through the board. Or I'm going to do hammer, palm heel strike, which is just like it says, you strike with the palm of your hand. So you're going to strike the boards like so. So the idea is that when you come down, you're hitting with this part of the hand, this back part of the hand here, and you're going to try and push through the boards. And right now, like I said, I'm doing 4 either strike with ease. So what I've been doing is, last time I practiced, I maxed out at 3 boards. Today I started with 3 and maxed out with 4. So next time, so probably next week, and today's Sunday, so I have to work all week, and I've been picking up some extra work on the side at work, or extra overtime, because tournaments are expensive, and so is mortgage and all those other bills. So what I wound up doing is saving at least 1 day of the weekend to practice. I mean, I try to go to class when I can. Sometimes it's hard because the job I got, I don't get done on time to go to most of the classes because they're too early. If I can get done at work sooner, then I can get more classes. But in between, I'm still practicing at home, and I have like I said, maxed out today at 4. So I think I did 4 or 5. No, I did 6. I did 6 sets of 3. So I did 3 hammer fist and 3 palm heel strikes. Hammer fist 1, restack, palm heel, restack, hammer fist. And then I tried to do 10 with the foot, and I only got through 5, which surprised me a little bit, because normally I can go through 7 without any challenge at all. So I tried to bump it up with the foot breaking up to 10, and I only got through 5. So I don't think I landed correctly or with enough energy, and I only broke through 5. And so then I cleaned off the broken 5, and then I restacked up the bottom ones, and then I did an axe kick, which is like you bring your foot up and you swing it down like an axe. And I did 5 like it was nothing. So I'm like confused of why I could do 5 with an axe kick easily, then I could do 10 with a stomp. you would think with a stomp that'd be a much more stronger heavy duty strike because you're putting a lot of weight behind it. But I only did 5, so that's where we are. I don't have any tournaments between now and the Open. There is one in May in Wisconsin that I thought about doing, but it doesn't work with my work schedule because it's on Friday and Saturday. Usually tournaments are on Sunday. So I got to work too late on Friday. I'd never make it the 5-hour drive to Wisconsin to do the tournament on Friday night. I can only compete in one event, and that's on Saturday. So I'm not going to waste 10 hours on the road, the gas, the entry fee for one event. It's just not worth it to me. So right now I am just going to do the the Open, and then I got a tournament afterwards. The rest of the season I have 3 more tournaments following the Open. I have the Twin Cities Rumble, which is in September. I have Diamond Nationals, which is in October, and then following Diamond Nationals in the I think it's December. I can't remember for sure. Late November, early December. Probably December because of Thanksgiving or Memorial or Veterans Day. I can't remember, but anyway. So that's the NCK, the North Central Karate Association finals. So that's the season. So as of right now, I have 4 more tournaments before the end of my season. So on that note, I'm gonna get back to it. We'll probably talk right after the Open. Have a good day. Thanks for watching my karate journey.